Okay, so we got another day of development here. Now this is going to be live stream, so I may occasionally note people that are in the stream and stuff, but this will be uploaded to YouTube additionally. So let's go ahead and get into started. Right now we got nobody on the stream, but that was probably expected as I never announced the stream times, and we'll get to doing that eventually when I finally get streaming completely figured out and decide if I want to stick to using Mixer or switch over to Twitch or YouTube or some other streaming service that is available. Now, right now I am looking at the 1.9 workspace. I did get 1.8 functional, so it took me a couple more hours after I finished that video and uploaded it. What ended up happening is there was nothing wrong with our code. See, this is the code we are running in the 1.10 version, basically. I tried so many different variations to get the code work. What was wrong was our models. So the JSON format for the models in 1.10 does not work in 1.8. I don't know if this is intentional or I'm missing something or there's a couple extra steps I'm supposed to do to get it to work. Either way, switching back to the vanilla Minecraft style models, which I had to figure out the hard way what were. Thankfully, I found a tutorial made by Mick Jetty, the guy who makes RF tools, that showed that the code I was using was completely correct and that I needed to fix the models. Of course, I fixed this before I found his tutorial, but his tutorial did confirm what I was thinking was going wrong, and that it was models. I think I actually found a post by Gray Ghost, who was the one who actually had noted that there was a little bit different model behavior. He didn't explicitly say it, but if you went to his GitHub, which showed off a lot of different versions of the same exact item over Minecraft, it did show that there was a variation. Now, I'm still a little frustrated from yesterday because this is much harder than it was in 1.7.10. 1.7.10, you just went, okay, here's the name of my icon and I'm done. And you didn't have to do any more work. Previous versions even easier than this. You just threw the name at it. You didn't even have to register icons or anything. So, yeah, although I do have to admit previous versions, you also have to give like texture sheets and then manage texture sheets and do all that kind of stuff, which was a little frustrating and tedious and made work of our artist a lot harder. With 1.7.10, at least we had individual icons. And I guess this is a slightly move in a good direction because I can sit here and I can edit the way my items look inside this model here, which is very, very useful. I just wish there was an easy mode button for people who were familiar with the old version so that the transition was much smoother. Hopefully newer versions make this even easier and easier, which it does look like that way because 1.7.10 is a lot nicer than what my experience with 1.8 has been so far. Given my frustration with 1.8 was exclusively because something that was in 1.10 did not work in 1.8, which is, I should have expected that because I was backporting, but anyways, I'll launch this and show that it works. Then we're going to jump to 1.9, and then we're going to do 1.11. I do not have scripts for 1.12 yet, so we can't do 1.12 at the moment, unless I want to sit here and try to figure out how the Gradle scripts work, which I've expressed already. I am not an expert in Gradle. I can work on Gradle scripts. It's not something like I cannot do, but my experience with Gradle scripts is limited to raw Java and not Minecraft. And unfortunately, Dmod has a ton of Minecraft-specific scripts built into our workspace, which I think we probably should go through and clean up and optimize, but they're really useful. They do a lot of cool stuff for us, like give us change logs, keep track of different versions, inject dependencies for us, download a whole bunch of stuff, and do a whole bunch of little cool things like zip files up and make sure the APIs work, and export 3 different files, which is the DOF, the real version, and the API version, which is really, really useful because it allows you guys who are doing development on the mod specifically, you can download a DOF version and include it directly in your workspace rather than trying to find a mod that decompiles mods automatically for you. And of course, I did neglect to turn my audio down here. So I did notice yesterday's video didn't have a lot of echoing in there, but I didn't spend a huge amount of time ensuring that there wasn't a problem. But I am running on speakers, I am running with a desktop mic, and unfortunately this desktop mic will pick up things around in the background. I know TeamSpeak has been having a hell of a time differentiating between it and my computer. So a time set day. There we go. And then let's just do VE butcher to kill whatever is around us. Oh, that's right. We don't have Voltage with us. Yeah, that's gonna get really frustrating. I should separate all the Voltage commands off into their own little mod. Yeah, so we got these. They all work. We already tested the recipe yesterday. The recipes are fine. The only time we're probably going to have issues with recipes is when we hit 1.12, because I'm noticing a lot of people have been talking about recipes stopping working. But yeah, that's pretty good. So let's go ahead and close that out so we know that they function. Actually, you know what? One thing I forgot to check. I forgot to check first person and third person holding the item. First person looks good. Third person looks good, because when I did get it working yesterday, and one of the issues I ended up running into was this didn't work. Let's try, yeah, different items do work properly. Oddly enough, there only seems to be overrides for first person and third person, although you would imagine an entity override would be useful. I'm going to assume that there is actual overrides for that. There seems to be a lot of stuff I just don't know about the JSON model system that I think would be really useful. The reason I'm not spending a huge amount of time on it is because a lot of my mods just aren't going to use this system. Volts Engine and every dependency that depends on Volts Engine uses a custom JSON format system that looks a lot nicer, in my opinion, than this. So rather than having a display system, I have a state system, which means I can change the way my item looks per state, and the state would be third person aim, third person held, thrown. I can control all of that, and I can add more states to it as I want. So yeah, let's not worry about that. So we'll go ahead and close 1.8. It's done. I'll build it up here later and test it to make sure it's functional. So let's go ahead and we'll move on to 1.9. Now 1.9 is having the same exact issue that our 1.8 build had, and I think this is a defect in our scripts and not actually any problem with how Minecraft is set up or how Forge is set up. So we just need to go down into our modulars here, and we just got to fix that missing dependency there. It's real easy to fix. Hit plus, hit jar dependency, and then we want to come out here and we want to go to my user folder, which, by the way, somebody asked why my user folder is called Robert. Windows did that to me. Every computer I log in, it does that to me now. I'm not sure why, but it abbreviates my name to 5 characters, and it's stuck that way. I just don't feel like changing it. I've got about 20 computers I log into, and they're all like that now. What was I looking for? Why do I have like 3 desktops now? Okay, that's my real desktop. That's my fake desktop. 2 down. I think this is because there's software on my computer that's having trouble. That or my Symlinks broke, which I hope my Symlinks didn't break. Either way, that's not important. So we go Gradle. Not wrapper. We go caches. Minecraft. Net. Minecraft Forge. Then we want whatever version we're using. So we want not 1.9.4 because we're not using 1.9.2 because, well, that's an older version. We want this guy. So snapshots, latest snapshot, and then we want this folder here, and we're going to grab the Forge source in both the compiled and the actual version, which will be down here at the bottom. So we have the compiled version and we have the uncompiled version. And that's what we need. So hit apply, hit run, and it'll repair itself here in a second. You just gotta wait for that progress bar to hit the other side. There we go. And we may not have to do anything to do 1.9 here. So 1.9 from 1.10 to 1.9 may just function. Yeah, I don't see anything I have to do here. So let's go ahead and hit debug. And once again, with the debug, we just have to go ahead and change and fix the modular. Eventually, I want to get scripts that does all this for me, especially with the program arguments and the VM arguments. There's things that we throw in there that we actually use. With our other workspace, and the plan is one of these days I want to be able to get a build script that you download to your computer and you click run and it'll build the entire workspace for all of our mods as one workspace, so you'll be able to work on every mod we have and be able to actually get updates quickly and everything. The possibility is that apologies for the cough here. I don't have a mute button on this mic either, so sorry about that. But the possibility is, instead of using a build script, we may use a piece of software. I'm already working on a piece of software to update our version numbers for Volts Engine because that's a big problem we have. We have some 76 repositories with Gradle properties in them. And I think half of those depend on Volts Engine. So we have like this large number of repositories that need their Volts Engine number updated. Now we have 2 possibilities when doing this. We either could use that program and just do it. Actually, we have 3 possibilities. We can manually do, which is what we've been doing, or we could start telling the build server to inject the latest version, which is something that I've been really tempted to do, but have been avoiding because that still doesn't update our Volts Engine version number, because the Volts Engine version number would still have to be updated no matter what. So there is a lot of stuff to consider when we do this. Right now, we're looking at autonomously doing it, and I've created a simple program that just opens up text files and replaces lines in them. It's a really basic Java 101 stuff. So it's nothing complicated. I'll probably show it off and explain it. There's actually a guy who sits around in our general channel in Discord that actually could use information like that. There's also another guy that's been complaining. I think it's actually the same guy who was complaining that your default character is a female chick now, which is, I don't find anything wrong with it, but I think Minecraft does need an in-game skin selector. So let's go ahead and take a look. Yeah, everything works. So let's pop this in my hand and we'll check the third person. Check the dropped. Yeah, it looks good. Now we just need to check the recipes. And oh, I saw that recharge. Hold on. Wow, there's a recharge mechanic. I still haven't played with the newer versions of Minecraft. We made a really good go at it a couple times, but every time we ran into severe issues with RAM. What is the debug key? Yeah, right here. So the thing is, the newer versions of Minecraft reserve a lot more RAM than the older versions. This one's almost 4 gigabytes, and it will float to that 4 gigabytes just standing in just vanilla version. And it doesn't do this to everybody's computer. Oh, what is that in the middle of my screen? Also, let's kill the audio. Wrong button. Using a sound. They changed the button location, so I clicked that by mistake. But I just noticed in my center screen, I have my center of axis view here, so I can see where the Y is, I can see where the X is, I see where the Z is. I want to say the red is the Z. Where's my X, Y, and Z? So X, Y, Z. I think the red is X. So let's try going in this direction. Yeah, the red is the X. So that's really cool, because there's a lot of times when I've had problems with models that something like that would have been useful. It's been on my docket list to actually go ahead and add it to my render debug system. So you notice I've been using a debugger a lot of the episodes to actually quickly edit my JSON files for things like guns and stuff. And I actually do need one of these little things to actually edit stuff quicker. More appropriately, I need a better understanding of how the OpenGL system works, because when you rotate things, one of the biggest things I'm having confusion problems with is I'm so accustomed to using game engines for rotating objects, and the game engine will accommodate for that understanding that people don't understand that when you rotate something, the axis moves. Instead, I want to be able to go, okay, I want to rotate this 30 degrees upward, but I didn't want the axis to move at all. I'm adjusting the model's default position. And there are things that will actually accommodate for that in game engines, but Minecraft doesn't have that. It's something I actually do need to implement that would be really, really useful. Anyways, we know this stuff works. Actually, we didn't check the crafting recipe. So that's the last thing we need to do. And if we're getting feedback from the speakers, just shout out here or something. I'm in the wrong tab, so I want this. These guys. Any sapling, by the way, will work. But the wood is specific. I will have to go hunt down some mods here later and check to see if the modded woods work. What I'm probably going to do is, because I kind of want this mod to be really, really nice, is I'm probably going to go hunt down a ton of mods and make sure that things actually are working the way they're working. And I'm going to go ahead and remove that because I want to take a screenshot to prove that I just updated a mod to 1.9. There's a lot of people that give me shit for not updating mods, and I'm going to update as many SMB mods to the latest version as possible, and I'd go, oh, so you were like, hey, I'm not updating mods. Well, look, I just updated 3/4 of my mods all the way up this. You can't complain anymore. Although I know for reality they're complaining because ICBM itself is not updated, which I can understand. Yeah, eventually we'll get to updating ICBM. The problem with it is that there are more things that come into play than just the icon system breaking. There's some AI problems that happen, there's some entity changes, there's a lot of really small things that have to be updated. And on top of that, I don't want to abandon 1.7 because there's still a very large populace that plays 1.7.10 that wants to continue to play 1.7.10. A lot of my buddies are still that way. It's actually a really big thing. When I was having problems with 1.8 and I was asking around, a lot of the developers I actually interact with on a daily basis still have not updated to a 1.8 plus. A couple of them have some mods in 1.8, but they haven't gone beyond that, which is interesting and surprising. It also kind of tells me that the community for 1.7.10 is still pretty large when it comes to mods and mod development and everything else. And I need to go find some statistics that actually explain what I'm seeing. Although the reality of it is that community probably is sizable, but just not sizable compared to the fact that Minecraft has like 100 million users active or something like that. Anyways, so we know 1.10 or 1.9's done, so we didn't have to change anything except for the build script. That's cool. I hope 1.11 is that easy and we can go ahead and jump to another mod here. So I'm going to go ahead and close this workspace. Now we got the 1.11. Now 1.11 is going to break exactly the same as the 1.9 and 1.8 workspace did. So we're going to pop this open and you'll probably just see, yeah, it's broken. Now what I am hoping is that it didn't break even worse, because I believe DMod just finished the 1.11 scripts here. Actually, we clicked the wrong button here. Let me close you. Click it up here. I need to get used to clicking that button up on the top because it'll be a little easier. I also probably should have waited to start streaming this until I was actually fully awake. I got up a bit late because I actually had one of those really nice dreams that, even though I can't remember it, I knew it was good because I was drooling on my pillow. Yeah. We need that file again. We don't want this guy. We want this guy. So we are doing just flat out 111. Did they not have any subversions for 111? It'd be kind of cool if they didn't. So once again, we want these two files. Hit apply. At least one good thing about me doing this, I'm getting good at fixing my workspace. But there's a lot of stuff that's in here that, like, we have Java 3D stuff now. Vector math. I feel like every time Minecraft updates, this list gets a little bigger. The only ones I really know well are things like JSON, JUnit. I probably should get accustomed with all these. I probably should learn their actual official names to put on my resume. Not that I'll probably get a job anytime soon. I had a couple interviews yesterday, and then a couple last week, and it's like every single time you run into it is like, explain your knowledge, or explain this technique, or explain this, and I fail it every time. It's because my understanding of specific things is pretty low, and I can only explain via examples. And they don't want examples, they want exact explanations, which is a bit much when you think about it. It's like, explain me this certain, like, Higgins property or something. That's not a good example because I don't think it's even related to programming. But they'll ask to explain how breadth first searches work, and not just, like, how they work in the CPU, but, like, how were they developed, how do you make this work in pseudocode and everything else. And I only know how to make it work via while loops and things like that, and I probably should work on my understanding of that. But it looks like 111 is actually pretty good, so we may have one of those. I'm really going to enjoy if all the mods are like this, because this is real easy, and this is bringing my hopes up that updating Voltage and ICBM to newer versions is not going to be as rough as I thought it was going to be. It's just getting over that 1.8 hurdle. So that 1.8 hurdle was the reason that I haven't updated for a very long time, is every time I tried it, there was just nothing wanted to work correctly. And I may take somebody's advice, and I may just shoot straight to 1.9. I just may go screw it and just skip 1.8 and come back to it later. This will mean that Volts Engine will not have compatibility. Oh, we are missing something. We are at 111. Get sub items. Okay, that's my file system. What is this thing? Non-null list. This is this is new for me. Is this a Forge thing? This is a Forge thing. Cool. I've been saying for a while that Forge should probably have gotten the habit of making specific lists for specific item types. There really should be like an item stack list, and to be honest, I need to start doing it myself because it is a very useful technique. It's something I learned here a few years ago. There's very powerful things you can do when you start messing with the actual low-level API. So let's go take a look at this. If you take a look at abstract list, it is an implementation of list. You can make entirely customly implemented lists. On top of this, you can do things like sublists. So say you have this list that contains 1,000 items, but you only want item between 33 and 90. You can make a sublist, not edit the original list whatsoever, return the sublist, and you can do whatever you want with it. And it will edit the original list if you edit the sublist. It's a really powerful thing, but that looks like that was the only thing wrong with it. So let's hit build and hit rebuild, because there may be like 2 or 3 other things that are finicky. That looks good though. So hit debug Minecraft. And we'll go ahead and test this, and if this is done, we just updated all of our versions, and I'm going to take a break even though I didn't do any work. So what are we at recording time? We're at like 18 minutes. Yeah, it's not bad. Once in a while, I got to make a short video here, but I'm going to do several of these today. I'm going to work till probably 5, even though I really should work more, but I do have 2 midterms this week, so I can't be spending a huge amount. Ooh, that memory usage bar is new. This is the first time I've launched 111, by the way, for anybody interesting. And that, well, it's the first time I've launched a non-heavy mod pack. Usually I have launched a few things with 111 and 112, but they're all like things like Technic mod packs, or I want to say Curse, but no, it's a Twitch client mod packs now. I don't know why they even changed the name of that. They should have just kept it the Curse client, but I guess Twitch wanted it for their own thing. Interestingly, I need to check to see if the Twitch client will connect to the Twitch streaming system, because I would love to answer chat through that rather than doing what I'm doing with Beam over here, and where you have an actual window open. Anyways, create new world. Actually, you know what? Let's fix my audio first. By the way, my speakers are at like 3%. I flipped them to 100% and I left Minecraft on one time, and I got a noise complaint from a neighbor who threatened to call the cops on me. It was interesting. It's like, please turn down that ambient music. They didn't know what the hell it was either. They didn't even know what Minecraft was, and I'm like, apologize, I left my audio too loud. They didn't care. Unfortunately, the same neighbor that I accidentally let my dog out one day who scared his kids, so I wouldn't be surprised if they just flat out called the cops on me one day. That would be an interesting day because I just have things like 20mm rounds sitting on my desk. Have to explain that. Although I doubt they'll ever come in the house, but Okay, looks like all the icons are working. Let's grab a random one here. Third person works really well. First person works really well. Dropped item works really, really well. Okay, so we just need to test to make sure the recipes are functional. And I think we're pretty much good at this point. This makes me really happy, so I just have to wait for DMod to get the 112 scripts out, and I'll go ahead and update this mod to 112 as well. And then we're probably going to... What do I want to hit up next? I'm really thinking wooden buckets right now, but there is a problem with doing wooden buckets. Its textures are dynamically generated. We will have a problem with that. I'm going to skip that one for now because I'm going to have to go hunt down Master Fry and ask him for help. But yeah, so the recipes work. So that's good. And by the way, when the textures are dynamically generated, they work like the buckets here. The only problem is the vanilla buckets are fine. They use metadata, so they are real easy to work with. But the wooden buckets use metadata to describe the bucket material. So you have a metadata value per bucket. Actually, let me go ahead and close this, and I'm just going to reopen. See, I will close this guy as well, so we'll close 111 because there was nothing to really do. And go ahead and commit my code for 111 because there was a small change. So go ahead and commit that up, and there we go. We have a version of this mod from 1.7 all the way to 1.11. They're all functional and they're all identical to each other, which is really, really good. Consistency is a big thing. But what I want to go ahead and do and show, which I'm going to have to open Steam for this. Yeah, I launched my main workspace through Steam, and I don't want to go through the hassle to open it any other way. Even though I probably should, because as soon as Steam pops up, I'm probably going to get notified by like 10 different people like, hey, why are you not on TeamSpeak? And it's because I'm trying to get work done today. Go ahead and close that guy. Look at my magical empty desktop here. The reason this looks so empty, by the way, is my other monitor's got all the junk on it right now. I cleaned this up, I think last week, and I never did show it off. Yeah, Vas, go away. I got some updates to download too. What are we updating? Yeah, just some Ark. I don't even play these games. I got this one here to play with Grogger, and then I was going to play this one with everybody, but I got it and tossed it to like 2 other people. And I paid full price for my copy, which I shouldn't have done, because it went on sale like the next week. But nobody ended up wanting to play it, which was sad. But anyways, software, Project Volts Engine. And somehow Destination Soul got thrown in there, which I don't think is software. Change category. I think you are in arcade. So go ahead and load this up, and I'll show what I'm talking about with wooden buckets. How did annotation processing get disabled on this one? This is, oh wait, I'm in the wrong workspace, but whatever. We can fix this. Open recent Volts Engine. This one. Sometimes IntelliJ is a little dumb on the startup commands. I know there is a way to force it to open a certain workspace, but IntelliJ, when you have multiple workspaces open with IntelliJ, they're all the same program. It's one of the disadvantages of it. Anyways, I closed this because we were working with wooden shears, and we got wooden shears updated with it on 1.7. I need to go ahead and release a new version for it as well, because the current 1.7.10 version on Curse does not have the wood types. Which, by the way, the wood types are not important. right now they're all the same. The only time they're going to change is when we start adding modded woods, because certain modded woods have different hardness properties. And it's going to directly reflect onto the items. And of course, they'll be configured so you guys can change at will. So if you decide, like, for example, dark wood has a better hardness property than oak, then you guys can have fun with that. But wooden buckets. So it'd be SMB. Actually, let me rephrase this. Wooden buckets itself doesn't have anything in it. We'll open this up and I'll show you exactly what I mean by this. So what I did with wooden buckets, and I'm doing this with a lot of my bucket mods now, is it's pretty much just a glorified, what's the word I'm looking for? Glorified recipe system, and it's a glorified texture system. So you have a bucket material, which is wood. Then you have your registry of your different configs. This stuff, by the way, is going to disappear eventually. But here's the important part. So we're registering all of our, actually this is also config. The important thing is the bucket types, I guess. So you register your bucket materials, which is registered. Where is we actually registered this at? Yeah, right here. So we register a bucket material with the bucket material handler. And this is actually a registry built into a mod called VoltsEngine Fluids. It's a separate mod, not dependent on VoltsEngine. It's independent from VoltsEngine, but it probably will be downloaded with VoltsEngine in the future, as it's going to handle all of our fluids. So anytime we have a molten fluid, anytime we have a liquid fluid, gas, whatever, it's going to be in this. The gas system I probably end up building for VoltsEngine may end up in this mod as well, but I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do that precisely yet. What the hell is TDD from Minecraft? Tower defense? Yeah, it was hello to you, by the way, in the stream there. Let me pop this comment over here for the YouTube video. So there. I probably should get an on-screen system for that, because I just now noticed that due to my audio being so low. But yeah, so we're working on bucket materials here, so... Lost my train of thought. But yeah, we got bucket materials. So one thing I was going to show, if I jump down here to the fluid handler, is that the fluid handler actually creates a bucket item, and it will actually render this with different fluids, and it bases all of its information on the bucket material. And the bucket material is retrieved via metadata, at least it should be. So let's try to find some of the different data here. There's place fluids, empty, get fluids, fill, capacity. I actually need to work on capacity here later. So there's coloring, which is based on the fluid. Well, it's actually just based on the fluid itself. I probably should add a pass-in for that for the bucket material as well, so you can change the bucket material's color. On update stuff, yeah, right here. So we got a reference back to the bucket material. So it contains, oh, that's fluid to handle. Yeah, this is where I need notes on my own code. So it's bucket handlers, fluids to handle. Oh, here we go. Oh, fluid to handler. That's a bucket. No, that's a bucket handler. This is the bucket handlers are to handle specific behaviors of certain fluid types. So, for example, like Ender IO's fluid should have one. We don't have one at the moment, but there should be some callbacks to the bucket material in here. And I may just, yeah, right here it is, bucket material. So here's a damage handler. So this is based on the stack. So I believe you actually can modify this via. Well, this is getting the damage based on the stack. So how are we retrieving it? So there's material. Yeah, it is metadata based. So yeah, we confirmed that. So yeah, this is based on metadata. And if we actually launch the game here, so if we go ahead and launch Minecraft 2 while we continue to talk, you can see that we have a ton of different materials. And the material doesn't have to be a bucket. For example, we have a mod called Fluid Can. It's actually based on the same concept where you can actually register a material and you don't have to do anything else. You just register material and describe how it works. Although with the bucket, with the fluid can, what I actually need to go through and work on its rendering, as there are some overlay things that need to be adjusted for it, because it's still using the bucket overlays, which makes it look a little weird. I don't know if I can show that. I'll see if the right-click logic actually works for the fluid cans. Yeah, let's give myself a drink here while we wait for this to launch. One thing they never taught you with streaming is that because you talk a lot, your throat actually dries out. So let's see. So yeah, we'll work on this. I don't know if we're going to port this right now, though, because there are a lot of little nuances with this. The biggest thing is going to be the textures, of course. So we're going to have problems with them getting loaded forward, because specifically 1.8 requires there to be a model file per unique texture. And I don't think we want to make a model file per fluid type that a bucket could support, so that's out of the question. That means we're going to have to go to something like an iSmart model, and I don't remember what Master Fry told me here last year, but he was telling me there is a way to do, because I asked specifically about this, as a lot of the items in Volts Engine are MBT driven. So if you ever go to Volts Engine, you look at things, for example, are like screws and plates and ingots and stuff. Some of those do have some MBT behavior to them. A lot of them are metadata driven, because I went back through, I think here 2 years ago when I was porting code from Resident Engine, which Resident Engine was MBT driven, and I decided, you know what, let's not do MBT for this, and let's do metadata. That way it loads really, really quick and clean, and there's no glitching behavior with it, and it's real easy to work with. Especially what makes it really easy to work with is that we have an item per material, so that way we have 32,000 different metadata values available for us. So that way we don't have to worry about anything. You can have 32,000 different materials, and I doubt we're ever going to hit that state where we do. And if we ever hit that state, all we got to do is register a brand new item. With the availability of equivalent number of items available to us, you can just do some math and figure out very quickly that we have a really large number of material types available. And on top of that, if we ever do hit a point where we have problems, we just throw MBT right back in there. So it's not going to kill us. But actually, you know what, that would probably port really easily, now I'm thinking about it, when it comes to the Volts Engine stuff. Maybe the tools might have a little bit of issue, especially when I'm going to make the screwdriver in Volts Engine is going to turn into a multi-tool here eventually. So you'll be able to use it for a little bit of everything, and it's going to probably look like a Swiss Army knife, that your handle stays the same, but then the tip will change repeatedly on you. So when you're using it for wrench mode, it'll look like a wrench. When you're using it for configurator mode, it'll look like a screwdriver. It'll look like a pry bar when you're trying to move machines. There'll be different visuals to indicate what mode it's in, because right now I think we got like 4 modes for the tool. And I think you would add more modes to that tool whenever you want to, so there's probably going to be a lot of modes on that tool. Probably a build wand mode eventually. We're definitely going to have a tie-in for the creations mod whenever we get it running, and that one's got a glove that lets you do world edit in world without being an admin, by the way, which is really, really cool. I really need to work on that mod more. It's a really cool concept. It takes the ideal of magic and makes it more technological. So it plays sort of like Tinker's, but at the same time it plays like a God mode style mod. So there's been a couple people I've let play the alpha of it, and they've really enjoyed it. I need to fix my audio for this as well. Here we go. See, my audio is reset on a lot of my clients. Or I think I flipped the audio up because I was testing the power generator for a client. Yeah, I think it's what ends up happening. Although I gotta lower that one down because he was complaining that it was too loud. Yeah, this exact generator right here is what I was testing. Doesn't have any fuel in it. We can toss them in here. Yeah, so you can start to see different material types we have available. And we have a lot, by the way. The helm bucket, or actually this is an Arclight spawn tool. Ooh, you know, I wonder if those actually work. At the end of testing this real quick, we'll see if those work. I'll leave it on my hotbar just to test. But yeah, so we got our different materials can be seen here. So from here to here is different materials. We got different wood types, and we have the gas can, for example, which is a different wood type. Eventually, we are going to do the helm bucket mod, which is another single blocks mod, is going to end up supporting the same system, and same with the cacti bucket mod. Right now, the cacti bucket and the helm bucket are identical. They're really primitive. They just use metadata to store fluids. It works. It got the mod up on its feet, but I cannot support a wide range of fluids. Although with the helm bucket one, I'm still trying to question if I want to do that. Because if I don't do the fluid mod with it, then I can go ahead and update that mod all the way to 112 right now. Because it's a metadata driven mod and should be really clean to implement. But yeah, we got the gas can here. So let me grab the gas can. I want to see if I can go ahead and... We should have gas in one of these. We may not have the oil mod installed. Good news is, if the oil mod does not exist, then we can go ahead and just use lava. So go ahead and grab this guy. If my game does not glitch out on me. Put that there, and then game mode 0. Yeah, so you can pick it up. The only problem is it's using the same overlay from the bucket here. Given, by the way, Vanilla does not use overlays for their fluids. They use individual icons for each one, where this uses a layer-based system. So in the very first layer, you have the material in the can. Then on the next layer, you have the fluid type, and this one, of course, needs to be fixed. But what I can do is I can open this guy up and I can toss that generator in there, and yeah, it's going to be fluid here, which then will power the sentry gun here. And yeah, you can hear it running in the background. It's probably really, really loud on the stream, so I'll go ahead and turn it off. If it'll turn off. Yeah, there it goes. Because even though I've got my audio turned down for my speakers, I don't know what that sounds like on the stream and the videos. But yeah, so that shows off the bucket materials real quick, and those work for everything. The wooden ones, by the way, will catch you on fire if you're holding them, so be careful with those. And let me go ahead and change myself back to game mode 1. And I don't know if the Artilex actually, do they work? Oh yeah, they do work. I haven't worked on this mod in like a year and a half. So this guy is an NPC that I was working on to do guard behavior. And what is the other guy? So there's 2 of them. Oh, we crashed. Didn't take long. What did we even crash for? I'm not going to fix it right now because the Artilex mod's been put on the back burner for a while. Yeah, it's just some of the AI code derping out. Yeah, it's failing to get its profession. A lot of the Artilex AIs are based on a profession-based system, so the way they behave is specified by what kind of job they have. This is actually going to be slightly modified too, as I'm going to tweak it to be personality-driven. So an AI will have a personality, but then at the same time their job will modify what tasks they should be doing, so it'll affect the priority, but it won't affect anything else. So yeah, we need to figure out what mod we're going to update next. So we already got all the wooden shears updated. I'm going to cut the recording though. I'm going to leave the stream up, however.